What is going on, guys? I am the FD Guru, bringing to you guys another episode of my fantasy sports podcast. Tonight we have 8 games on the NBA slate tonight, and they're all looking pretty decent. Obviously, like every other night, some games look better than others. I'm going to really just skip over the games that aren't great, just so we can just make these videos a little shorter. I got stuff to do every day, and you guys do too, so just trying to give you guys a quick hitter on who to pick, every day, and get yourself a head start on your lineups for tonight. The first game on tonight's slate is the Clippers at Magic, and there's not much value here, but power forward is a really tough position tonight. There's not a lot of value out there. The guy in this game I would suggest picking is Tobias Harris. He's got a pretty good matchup. 7,700 is a fair price. It's not a great price, but he's a pretty safe play. He's going to get you probably 30 to 40 fantasy points here. He's been pretty consistent all year, but he does show that he can get low 20s here and there. But again, power forward is a pretty tough position. There's not many guys I like in general. But Harris is in a pretty good spot here in this game. You could even look towards Gordon on the other side at 7,900. He always presents good upside. But again, he's been a guy who's been off and on this year. He had a really good game last game, so maybe he picks things up. More of a GPP guy. Tobias more of a cash game guy. And then Vucevic as well. He's been awesome all year long. He's low-key a top center in the league. You can make an argument that he's right around top 5, maybe top 6, 7. But he's been great. And 8,900 isn't too pricey for him. He could be a guy that sees himself at 9,500 within the next couple of games, as he's been getting up towards 40 to 45 pretty consistently while presenting pretty good upside. So he could be a cash game center tonight. I don't mind him at all. He's got a pretty easy matchup against Gortat. He probably won't cover him much of the game because Gortat just doesn't play many minutes. And then Boban won't be able to keep up with him because he's more of a Vucevic is more of a perimeter shooter. So it's going to be interesting to see who they put on him. They could put Montrezl Harrell on him. Who knows? But Vucevic is in a pretty good spot. I don't mind him at all. Next game, we got Houston and Brooklyn. And tonight's the last night for Chris Paul and Eric Gordon to reach value. They've been a bit of a disappointment with no Harden, and it looks like this is going to be the last game where Harden won't be playing. He remains doubtful for tonight, but they said he could play in Saturday's game, so this could be our last night to take advantage of Chris Paul and Gordon at their low prices. I hope people are off of him tonight. I still love both of them. They have an ideal matchup in Brooklyn. This game should stay pretty close. And the matchup in general is just great for Gordon and Paul. They should be able to have their way here, and I'm hoping their ownership is low because they haven't been playing well with Harden out. Gordon's only 5,500. His price has gone down pretty significantly, and Chris Paul is only 9,100. I love both of these guys tonight. You should be rostering both of them in cash games. So I really hope you take my advice there. I just think they're just in too good of spots against the Nets with no Harden. As far as everyone else goes in this game, I think I'm all set. Gerald Green's not a bad play at 4K, but he hasn't really been doing much either in Harden's absence. He's getting the minutes, but the production's not there. But 4K is not bad. He's more of a GPP play if you really want to go that route there. But everyone else here, I'm all set with. Hollis Jefferson slowly coming back in the swing of things, but he's not even starting, and he's not getting consistent minutes, so I don't love it. Capella's a little pricey at 8,400. Indiana at Chicago, not much here either. More of a GPP side of things. You go Oladipo at 9K. He's got that big-time upside in a great matchup. This game should stay close. Levine, same story. He's got the upside as well. His usage is through the roof, so I don't mind him at 8,300. Neither of these guys are really cash game plays, though. And then the last GPP guy is Wendell Carter. He's presented great upside. He's looking like a stud in the making here. He played 37 minutes last night or last game, his season high. So maybe he's going to roll off of that, the 59 fantasy point performance, and go off. He was actually on the winning tournament team on the 31st of October. So maybe if you want to get some GPP exposure there, he's not a bad play either. But I'd rather spend up for Tobias Harris in cash games, a little more safer. OKC at Washington, this is going to be a pretty hard-fought game. Let's see. I think the spread here is, 2.5. I think this is the ESPN game tonight. I could be wrong. But a 233 over-under, that comes second behind the T-Wolves and Golden State Warriors. I like this game a lot if you're going to spend up. I think the best play here is Bradley Beal. 8,200 is the cheapest out of the studs. The studs being John Wall, Westbrook, and then Paul George and Bradley Beal. Those are the two studs on each team. I think Beal is going to be needed heavily in this game to keep up with the scoring of the Thunder. And he's coming off of a good game, 40 minutes at Memphis. Whenever a team plays at Memphis, it's always a tough fantasy spot. So for him to play 40 minutes and get 42 fantasy points is pretty impressive. I think he's going to roll into this game pretty hot. You could pair him with John Wall, but that's more of a GPP play. Bradley Beal could be a cash game play for sure tonight. I don't mind the 8,200 price tag. As far as the Thunder side of things go, I think I'm all set. Steven Adams has been playing great this year. But again, 7,500 is just too expensive. I think OKC is heavily priced. Paul George went up to 9,800. I would not even consider playing him even if Westbrook was out at 9,800. That's a huge price tag for Paul George. I have no faith in that. Knicks at Dallas. I'm all set with this game in general, I think. Everyone's priced pretty fairly. There's no injuries. There's really nothing to take advantage of, so I'm just going to move right into Memphis at Utah. Big injury, probably the biggest injury of the night, is Donovan Mitchell being down with the hamstring injury. This is going to open up some minutes. Joe Ingles' usage should go up a ton. He should have the ball in his hands more often. I think Ingles at 6,300 is one of the best value plays on the slate here. He's been basically reaching value every night with Mitchell in the lineup. But with Mitchell out, Ingles should see a boost in usage. He should easily get over 30 minutes. Crowder probable tonight. Don't love him at 5,100. Another guy you should be spending down on is Royce O'Neal. He should see his minutes go up. Whether he's starting or not, I think he's going to play over 20 minutes tonight, and he's a pretty safe punt play tonight with no Donovan Mitchell. He actually played very well last year in the absence of some players, so I have no problem punting out Royce O'Neal in this game. I noticed a funny thing earlier today. Rudy Gobert is 10,000. I never would have thought I would see the day here. He's been awesome to start the year. I'm just never going to spend 10,000 for Rudy Gobert. He's a great player, but I just can't do it, especially against a tough matchup against Memphis. He's going to have Marc Gasol to deal with all game. I'm not spending up there. The value plays here, like I said, Ingles and Royce O'Neal. I'm not really looking at the Grizzlies side of things. Toronto at Phoenix. Now, this game was very valuable until the news of Devin Booker came out, and it was said about an hour ago that he's probably going to play tonight. So now, I don't know. I think this game just isn't great at all here. Siakam's price went up a ton, 5,700. You could still make the argument to play him, but everyone is healthy here, so you never know. He's been playing fantastic. So we'll see as we get closer to tip. I'm considering playing him. I like Ibaka a lot for 600 more. He's just more of a consistent player. He does it on both sides of the court. The last two games have been great. So this is a good matchup. They're in Phoenix. The game should, stay close. It's a great matchup. The Suns stink at defense. They might need Ibaka to play against Ayton. So I don't mind Ibaka at all. He should draw the better matchup against Ayton over Valanciunas just because the Suns are faster paced. Ibaka is obviously much quicker than Valanciunas there. Minnesota at Golden State. This has the chance of a blowout. But there's a couple guys I like here. Jimmy Butler is playing tonight. The one guy who is out is Jeff Teague. Now, a lot of people are going to play Derrick Rose tonight. I had him in that awesome game. You know, he was tearing up at the end of the game. It was an awesome thing to see after coming off of his couple of gruesome injuries over the past few years. If you're any sports fan at all, you don't even have to be a D Rose or Timberwolves fan. It was just a great sight to see. 50 points, 64 fantasy points. I had him. It was an easy cash night for me that night. He was like 15% owned. It was mainly because Tyus Jones was a late scratch, but Jones is more of a cash game play tonight. He's going to play. No late scratch for him tonight. I think he's the better play over Rose. I know a lot of people are going to want to pick Rose, but I think 6,000 is just too much. And with Jimmy Butler back, his usage is definitely going to go down. It's not worth the 6K in my eyes. I think Tyus Jones is the far better play here. I'm probably going to pick him in cash games. Another good point here is that if this game does blow out, they're not going to run Derrick Rose. He's injury prone. He's older. There's no need to run him. It's Tyus Jones who's going to be getting all the minutes if this turns into a blowout. And I think Jones, even if this game stays close, I think Jones is going to play minutes anyway. So it's really a win-win situation here with Jones. I think he's the far better play here at 4,200, and he's definitely a cash game play. As far as everyone else goes in this game, I don't love him. Towns could be a decent play. He's been hot over the last 2 games. I had him against the Jazz last game. He's gone off. So you can maybe make a case there for him. They don't really have anyone to match up against him. But again, Jimmy Butler is back tonight. That takes away a lot of usage from players. And Wiggins is also back. So there's a little bit of risk there. He's not as much of a lock as he was the last couple of nights. But you could maybe get away with playing him. I think Tyus Jones is the better play here, guys. So this is going to sum it up for today. I hope you guys find this video helpful. And like it and subscribe if you guys haven't yet. And let's get this green. See ya.